Milestones in New Orleans. The city's positivity rate is now the lowest in Louisiana, and New Orleans is leading the country in vaccinations.
So the city now moves into a modified phase 3. Details on capacity limits now and what this means for local businesses.
I'm Sally Kidd in Washington. Landmark COVID relief legislation passes Congress and heads to the president for signature. I'll have detail.
Live, local, late breaking. This is WDSU News at 4.
Right now at 4, marking a milestone in the COVID-19 crisis in New Orleans.
I think it is important for us to embrace the positive news.
The city has such good numbers when it comes to the infection rate and vaccine count that it's moving into a modified phase 3.
So here's what that means for you. Restaurants, salons, and retail stores can now have 75% capacity. Bars, 50%, and live music venues, they can open at 75% as well, but with a cap of 250 people maximum. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Sala Kim.
And I'm Gina Swanson. All of that is because of certain milestones hit 1 year and 1 day into this pandemic.
WDSU's Travers Mackel live in the French Quarter to explain. Travers?
So, Sala, while the mayor says we're not out of the woods just yet, we are looking better. Therefore, as you just mentioned, fewer restrictions in the city of New Orleans. And here's the big reason why. Let me walk you through the data. The first thing is the low positivity rate. The positivity rate in New Orleans is the lowest in the state of Louisiana, just over 1% positivity in the city. Now, couple that with the fact that the percent of people vaccinated here is higher than the state average and the national average, and that's why the city is entering this modified phase 3. Here's a deeper look at the numbers. Right now, 12% of all people in the city have been fully vaccinated, and more than 21% have received a half a dose. Again, those numbers exceed state and national averages. And local business owners tell us that makes bringing their staffers back to work a lot easier.
I think it's a great list to be atop, and I think it's pretty natural that New Orleans is leading there because we've made our bones over 300 years by taking care of people.
I think people have actually done a really good job of adhering to all of the restrictions for a long time, and I think you can see those results.
And take a look at this. We want to break the numbers down a little bit further for you. The numbers broken down by race of people vaccinated. African Americans 45%, whites 44%, and 15% other. Now, coming up all new at 5 o'clock, despite the city peeling back some of these restrictions, hear why at least one musician says the city has to proceed with caution. For now, we're live in the French Quarter. I'm Travers Mackel, WDSU News.
Travers, thank you. Here's another look at the modified phase 3 restrictions set to go into effect Friday. Restaurants, salons, and retail stores can have 75% capacity. Bars, 50%, and live music venues, they can open at 75% as well, but with a cap of 250 people max.
And also announced at today's news conference with the mayor, the mass vaccination clinic at the Morial Convention Center will now be open 7 days a week by late March. The city says it's waiting on the shipment of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and once it arrives, vaccination efforts will be expanded. To the North Shore now, where Ochsner Health hosted its first mass vaccination event in St. Tammany Parish. More than 1,000 people received the Johnson & Johnson one-dose shot there. WDSU's Morgan Lentis is live in Mandeville. And Morgan, how did it go?
Yeah, so it actually went pretty smoothly today, and that's exactly what Ochsner Health wanted. They hosted this event here at Pelican Park as a test run for larger events that they hope to host in the future. So take a look at this video. It'll kind of show you how things ran today. And you did have to have an appointment to take part. And one doctor tells me that thanks to the governor's announcement yesterday expanding vaccine eligibility, they were able to fill all 1,150 spots last night. Again, they administered the Johnson & Johnson vaccine today, and I'm told that actually makes it easier for Ochsner to save any unused doses for later because the shot only has to be refrigerated.
Without a doubt, that improves our flexibility. But the other thing that improves the flexibility is that the Johnson & Johnson is a one-time shot. And so that allows us to continue to repeat these events without having to combine them with a second shot event as well. but we are still giving both Pfizer and Moderna shots throughout our system as well.
And it is worth mentioning that by state standards, St. Tammany Parish actually has the highest risk category for coronavirus. I asked the parish president about that today. I also discussed with him how vaccination efforts like the one that happened here behind me can help that situation. His response is coming up at 5. For now, reporting live in a breezy Mandeville, I'm Morgan Lentis, WDSU News.
On this vote, the yeas are 220, the nays are 211. The motion is adopted.
All right, you heard it there. One of the largest economic relief packages in U.S. history has passed the Congress. The nearly $2 trillion American Rescue Plan is on its way to President Biden's desk for signature. Correspondent Sally Kidd in Washington with how the vote shake out in the House.
The bill passed without the support of a single Republican, Democrats championing it as a plan that will save lives and livelihoods.
The motion is adopted.
Relief is on the way, Democrats say, passing their $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan and sending it to President Biden for signature.
It is the beginning of the end of the great COVID depression.
This has nothing to do with COVID.
The massive bill includes billions for COVID vaccine distribution, testing, and contact tracing. $350 billion to state and local governments, enhanced unemployment benefits of $300 a week, an expanded child tax credit, and $1,400 checks to most Americans.
The largest progressive policy wish list of all time.
Our Republican colleagues want us to do nothing. What is wrong with you?
Democrats hailing the bill as historic.
Will lift 50% of children out of poverty.
This legislation has the support of economists from the left, the right, and the center.
Republicans arguing only 9% of the bill is related to the pandemic.
This is not COVID relief. It's a $2 trillion blue state boondoggle.
When the facts are polled, the American people will know that this is a progressive wish list forced down by the Democrat Party.
Congress has approved 5 other relief bills related to the pandemic. This one is the first to pass without bipartisan support. Now, this represents the first major legislative win for President Biden, who says he will be signing this into law on Friday. In Washington, I'm Sally Kidd.
And the bill also increases coverage under the Affordable Care Act, providing more generous subsidies for premiums through 2022 and enabling a greater number of middle-class households to qualify.
A mother wants answers after she says her son was shot in the leg during a struggle with police in New Orleans East. According to police, the officer spotted a, quote, suspicious vehicle around 9:30 this morning. That car was parked outside of a daycare on Werner Drive near Chef Mentor, and the officer asked the 2 men inside to get out. That's when police say a struggle led to the shooting.
The passenger, immediately as the officer was approaching, he was involved in the struggle with the passenger. The struggle after ensued of the firearm discharged.
I don't know if he tried to run or what, but even if he did try to run, what was the proper cause for y'all to shoot him? That's all I want to know.
New Orleans police say it will release a body camera footage of the shooting, but did not say when they're going to release that. The mother of the man shot said he is being treated at the hospital under police guard.
An update this afternoon to a WDSU Investigate story out of St. Bernard Parish. One of the 4 guards linked to an inmate's death at the parish jail was sentenced today. The family of Namali Henry has been waiting for this day for nearly 7 years. This exclusive video from inside the jail showed moments before Henry's death back in 2014. Her family says she suffered from a rare blood disorder and was never given her medication. They say Henry was in excruciating pain for days. Deborah Becknell, who worked at the jail, pleaded guilty to lying to the FBI when she was questioned about Henry's death. Today in federal court, she was sentenced to 3 months in prison. Lisa Vaccarella, another guard linked to the case, will be sentenced later today. Aubrey Killian will have that story on WDSU News at 5. All
right, switching gears now and talking about weather on another gorgeous day with a Beautiful shot outside. Maybe we can stay on this shot, Damon, for a while since it feels so wonderful if you like warm temperatures.
Yeah.
Hopefully you've been enjoying that. So Damon is here with more on the forecast. Damon?
Yeah, it's definitely a great afternoon. It's been a great day today. The humidity has been pretty reasonable and the temperatures up to the upper 70s in some cases. The radar picture is clear. It's still clear. It's been mostly clear all day long today, and I think it's going to be clear for the rest of the night tonight. Here's a look at your temperatures outside. And right now over in Slidell, it's 73 degrees, just like Hammond. Bogalusa, you're at 76. Down here on the South Shore, the Naval Air Station Belle Chase reporting 74 degrees, while Galliano, you're at 75. Homer, you're at 77 degrees, and over in Kenner, it is 78 degrees. So some pretty nice numbers all across southeast Louisiana. Some pretty good winds. They're blowing anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour, 22 over at the Lakefront Airport right now. So it's pretty breezy outside all across southeast Louisiana. And I'm expecting those breezy conditions to be with us for the next several hours. Temperatures this evening falling into the 60s. And I'm thinking as we wake up tomorrow morning, we'll be in the upper 50s to the low 60s once again. When I come back, I'm going to talk about rain.
Well, another juror has been seated in the Derek Chauvin trial. Today marked the second day of jury selection. Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer, faces second-degree unintentional murder and manslaughter charges in George Floyd's death. Floyd died May 25th, 2020, after Chauvin placed his knee on Floyd's neck for 8 minutes while Floyd pleaded, quote, "I can't breathe." His final moments were captured on video, and his death led to widespread protests against police brutality and racism under the banner Black Lives Matter, as well as incidents of unrest and looting.
The Saints have their first salary cap casualty of 2021. I'm Fletcher Macklin. Coming up after the break, I'll tell you who the Black and Gold had to part ways with in an effort to shed some payroll.
I'm a mom, and I don't feel safe. And I know what the CDC says, but in my heart, my children's safety is priority.
Minority mistrust. Why so many parents of children of color are uneasy about sending their kids back into the classroom. Now, as we go to break, here is a live look at traffic for you on this Wednesday. You can see traffic is flowing smoothly.